Here, let me continue. What I'm going to cover you, what is web UI, what is the use of each topic, everything I'll explain to you. Here, we are in web UI technologies. Here, web UI. Here, UI, here it is a user interface. User interface. We can create user interactive page by using this UI technologies. Here, first topic, generally I'll explain HTML 4 and 5. Second one, CSS, CSS 2 and 3. Third one, JavaScript. Here, fourth one, jQuery. Here, fifth one, Ajax. Here, sixth one, responsive design. Then seventh one, Bootstrap. Here, eighth one, less and sense. Ninth one is the project. So this project I'll cover, one real-time project in front of you from the scratch. I'll explain to you how to create it, how to submit our application, everything I'll explain to you. Login page, create account page, like that I'll explain to you. Here in this project session, I'll cover you how to create our application, how to here I'll explain real-time project session. I'll explain this session will go every Saturday. Monday to Friday I'll take topic session. Every Saturday I'll go with the project session. Okay, this way I'll continue. Yeah, let me save. 8:30 p.m. demos. Okay. Let me save. Today is everyday files. All files will be saved in one drive, Gmail drive. That drive will be shared with you. From that drive, you can access everyday files, paint files, programs, everything, recordings, everything. You can get it from the drive, Gmail drive. This total duration of our course will be 40 to 45 hours of sessions. 40 to 45 hours of session I'll take to cover these all content. Here we are in web UI. We are discussing here HTML, CSS, JavaScript, these all topics. Here, first of all, here this is about web UI. So first, what is web UI? What is user interface? We'll see here. User interactive page. So whenever we enter any URL in the browser, here I'm entering here http://www.google.com. So here I can see that Google homepage. Once we click on the submit button, here our data will be submitted to server page. Okay. Here our data will be submitted to server page. So by that, by that I can submit my data to my application. Here, that server application, it will connect to server program. From that server, we'll get that data. Here we are submitting our data to server page. Here we are submitting our data. Once we submit our input to server page, here it will read by server. That server programmings are Java programming, .NET programming, PHP programming, any one server programming, it will read. Suppose if I enter toys here, the toy search will go to the server programming. Here in this server programming, it will connect to PHP or ASP.NET or here Java, JSP page, something it will connect like this. Here this is server programming. This server programming, we can connect it with database. Here this server programming can be connected with database. So this way we can create it. Here this is one server programming. That server program will connect to database. Here this database, here we are connecting with the database here. Databases are MySQL database, Oracle database, or SQL Server database. Like that, we use some database here. So we are using here web UI programming. Using that UI programming, we are creating one user interactive page. This is UI page. This UI page is interacting with the server page, server connecting to database. These all interactions you can observe in every application. It may be a mobile app or a desktop app or a mobile application or desktop application. or a tab application. In every application, you can see this type of output. Here we are discussing web UI programming. Under that, we are creating application here. Using this web UI programming, I am creating my output here. Once we click on submit button, our data will be submitted to server page. Server will connect to database. This whole interaction you can observe in every UI programming. In every UI programming, it will connect to server, server connecting to front-end page. These all interactions you can see in our programming. Here, this is our UI programming. Under this UI programming, here under this UI programming, here this is one user interface. This user interface is connecting to server page, server connecting to database. Okay, this type of output you can observe in every UI programming. Here I am creating a front end page. This front end is connecting to server, server connecting to database. This type of interactions you can observe in every web UI program. Okay, here I'm submitting my data. Whenever I submit it, it will read by server. So I want to check it. So how many seconds it will take, how much time it will take, you can check it. Here Google homepage. This Google page, I'm searching for toys here. See, here within 0.771 seconds of time, I'm getting this much results. This many millions of results I'm getting here from this Google. So it is connecting to server, server to database. Within few seconds of time, I am getting this type of output. Okay. Here, even if you want, you can check it here. Facebook login page. Here, Facebook. If you search for Facebook here, you can see that login page of that Facebook. Here, we can write. Here, if I want to create my account, I can create it here itself. This is one pop-up. Here, I want to submit my data, or here something cancel. See login.php. Whatever you can see in this front end, this is user interface. This user interface is connecting with PHP programming. Okay. Here this UI page is interacting with the PHP page. Okay. This UI page is interacting with the PHP page. So that way we can create it. Here every UI programming, everything we can create it. Okay, here this is one UI page. This UI page is interacting with the PHP page. Directly when you right click and inspect element here, you can see that output here, how this UI page is interacting with the server page, you can observe. Here this is one front end page. This front end page, once you click on the submit button, our data is submitting to server page. Okay, here I'm entering my details. Here I'm entering my password. Once I click on the login button, my data will redirect to server page. That server page, from this URL, I can understand that is PHP. But when you right click and inspect element on this, you can see some code here. It is not PHP code. This is totally front end code. HTML code. Doc type HTML head and body tag, we use it here for creating this type of output. Here doc type HTML head and body tag, we use it here for creating this type of output. Every front end page is interacting with a server page. Server page will interact with database. That type of interactions you can observe in every front end programming. Here doc type HTML head and body tag. Doc type, here it is a document type. HTML tag, head tag, body tag, we can use it for creating our application. Yeah, this is the basic tags. We use it for every HTML application. See, if you check it here, Oracle create account. Here, Oracle create account. In this UI page, here in this UI page, what will be the server? You can observe. Here, from this URL, I can understand this page is interacting with JSP. Here, Java server page, JSP. Okay. Here it is a Java server page. This server page is interacting with database. So is it using any front-end programming or not? Right click, inspect element. Whatever you can see that view part, that is developed by HTML. If you don't believe it, check it. Here check it. Doc type HTML head and body. Practically, you can see that every web page is doc type HTML head and body. Here, doc type HTML head and body. By reading this type of data, this type of tags, this type of something less than and greater than, if you see it, you can understand that it is following some structure. It is following some HTML structure. It is definitely following some HTML structure. So every HTML programming is following this type of rules. Doc type HTML head and body tag, we can use it here for creating this type of output. Here doc type, here document type, HTML tag, head tag and body tag, we can use it. Here doc type, here document type. What type of document I am creating here, that is doc type. HTML tag, head tag and body tag, we can use it for creating our application. Here next, here in this time, doc type, it's a document type, HTML tag, head tag, body tag. So everywhere you can see that it is following similar structure. Doc type HTML head and body is the same for every application. Maybe a mobile app or a desktop app or a browser application or a app downloadable Play Store app. Anyway, you can see this type of code. This code generally you can execute it with browser, but in apps you cannot see. But that internally they'll upload this type of code only in the hosting server. Here two examples with the two different server programmings. Front end is common. Here PHP page is connecting here as a server programming for Facebook. But front end page is doc type HTML head and body. Here it is the create account page. It is Oracle page. This is submitting our data to server. So this time also we are connecting our application with HTML. So that by that we can execute our program. Here doc type HTML head and body tag you can see for every HTML page. Here for every HTML page you can see that output like this. Here doc type HTML head and body tag we can use it here for creating this type of output. Okay, here everywhere we are using here doc type HTML head and body. So now here itself we are using here doc type HTML head and body. Here doc type, here document type. HTML is a root tag. Head is used to add some header information. Body is our entire body content of our application. This is basic rule of HTML. So suppose if I don't write body, what happens? If I don't write head, what happens? See here, I am removing delete element. I removed the head part. Can you observe the difference in the application? See, just before whatever we saw, that content is there, but there is no proper alignment for the content. There is no proper alignment for the content if I don't use head tag. Inside the head, we are adding CSS code. That's why it is showing proper alignment. If I refresh it, it will back. Here I am removing the body part. Just delete it. Delete it. See, I removed the body part of the content. See, you cannot see any content here. So if I don't write body tag, you cannot see any content. If I don't write head tag, you cannot see any output for our application. Okay, this way you can check your output. Here, if I don't write the body tag, no content. If I don't write the head tag, sorry, if I don't write the body tag, no content. If I don't write the head tag, no alignment for the content. This is the basic information for every HTML content. Every HTML content it is showing like this. Here submission, DB, like that you can see your output. So every time after searching something you are getting list of results. This results is also comes under UI page. This is also a UI page. This is also a UI page. Everything is a user interface. Whatever you are executing with browser, that all comes under UI pages. Here we are writing here HTML tag, head tag and body tag. We can write it like this. Okay, here this way generally we write our HTML tag, head tag and body tag. Okay, this is basic information of web UI. Here now by using this UI, what type of output we can create? So first we will note down here, this is URL. This is an example for here this URL. From this URL we can understand our user interface is interacting with JSP page that comes under Java. It will connect with any one of the database, that is maybe MySQL or Oracle or anything. Okay, here itself we can write it here. Facebook page, it is also connecting with, here forgot password something if I write. Here we are just search login.php. From this URL I can understand here. This is UI page is interacting with, this is one example here. UI page is interacting with, here in this example we can understand UI page is interacting with PHP page, PHP is interacting with database. Here databases are here MySQL or SQL Server or Sybase or MongoDB, any one database we can use. So like this we can write it here all our output. Here we are writing here all our outputs based on this UI programming. Here what we are going to learn it under this UI. See here, HTML. HTML creates content of the web page. CSS. CSS creates style part of the web page. So like that, every topic brief information I'll explain. Okay. Here first of all I'll show you, after learning this UI, what type of attractive user interface we can create. You can observe. Here I'm showing you. Here I'm showing you here. Here Roser Lab. Here roserlab.com, if you check that output here, see here loading time. Here also you can see doc type HTML head and body only. Here some bubble is coming. When you double click on that bubble, bubble will get blast. See bubble blasting effect. Okay, one more bubble will come. Okay. Here if I go down, see I'm continuously going down. So this time here what will be the output? See continuously we are going down, down, down. See bubble size is continuously increasing. See bubble size is continuously increasing like this. Okay, just 1 second, I'll close my door. Yes. Yeah. Here under this bubble blasting effect, you can see here. Just I blasted like this. See here the big bubble got blasted. One more bubble will come. Here if it's go back, one more bubble will come. This type of bubbling effect we can create it with our web UI program. Okay. Here similar way we can learn here. I'll show you water rippling effects. Water ripples effect in UI. Here water rippling effects we can create it here in our web UI programming. That water wave movements we can create it here using jQuery. Here using jQuery, we can create this water wave moments. How to create it, I'll show you. One of the topic jQuery, I'll explain to you. In that jQuery, you will understand how to create this type of water wave moments. Okay. Here, now you can see that how to create that waving effect. Okay. Here, when you mouse over on it, you can see that wave moments like this. This type of effect we can create it with our UI program. Here all water waves are coming like this. Here this type of effect we can create it with our web UI programming. Okay, here this type of effect we can create it. Here using jQuery cycle.js. Here using that cycle.js we can create all slideshow of images. Slideshow of image. Here shuffling effect, zooming effect, fading effect. Here shuffling effect, fading effect, here turn down effect, curtain X effect. All we can create it like this. Here scroll right, turn down, curtain X, shuffling, all types of effects we can create it with our UI programming. Okay. Here see here how it is showing all effects. Shuffling, zooming, fading, curtain X, turn down. Like this, all types of effects we can create it with our web UI programming. Okay, here under this web UI programming, how to create the turn down effect, curtain X effect, like that you can see that all effects. Here in this time, you can see that effect of that application, you can see here. Here web UI programming, here web UI programming, under that how it is showing that scroll right effect. So scroll right. See, when you click on it, it will go right side. See here how it is showing that scroll right effect. Okay, here scroll right. Once you click on it, you can see that here we can create this type of effect. So next one, here like this plenty of effects we can create it under web UI programming. What all that plenty of effects, I'll show you. Here we have one more one, AVEC drinks. Here AVEC drinks is one more website. We can use it here. AVEC drinks. See if you check that output here. Here under that we can create our output. Okay, here this type of effect we can create it. See, when you click down here, I am clicking down on this. See here, whenever we click down, you can see this type of effect. See, content is going down like this. Here this type of effect we can create it. See, I'm going down. Here whenever we go down, that can is coming up, and here can is sitting on one area and content is moving backside of it. This type of effect we can create it with our web UI program. Okay, so this way we can create our UI. Here I'm discussing user interface. We can create plenty of effects like this. So that plenty of effects you can understand here from this. Here in this time, whatever I'm writing here, these all effects I can create it. Here I'll show you. Yep. Here I'm going down. See here, continuously I'm going down. Can is sitting on one area. See like this. Here content is moving, cans also moving. See this type of effect we can create it with our UI programming. Okay, this way we can create our output. Okay. Here this type of effect we can create our web UI programming. Okay, so like this type of effects we can create it by using all our programs. Next one, how can we create our UI programming? We understood here. Next, how to write it. One second. Here UI programming, see how the content is going backside of it, you can understand from this UI. So anyway, from all these examples, what I showed in this browser, these all are example for the creating of our front-end programming, how we can create attractive user interface, that and that submission. If I am submitting anything, the data will be submitted to server submit to PHP page. That type of interactions you can observe here in this UI program. Okay, here now I'll show you how to create that output. Here, how to create our output for our application, that you can understand from this UI program. Here, next, using this HTML, I can create content. Here, what is web UI? What is the importance of UI? We understood. Here, now I'll show you how to create that output for that UI program. Here HTML is a hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language. It is mainly used for creating content part of the web page. Content of web page we can create it using HTML. Here HTML creates content of the web page. Here basic content part of the web page we can create it with this HTML. One second. Here basic content part of the web page I can create it with this HTML. Here now I can create it, how to create that content part of the web page. Here basically any HTML page we can write it here, one.html, something we write like this. So it always starts with the doc type. Just before we observed that every web page is starting with the doc type and HTML root tag, and we'll close that HTML tag. Here you can see that head and body. Head is used for writing header information. Body tag is used to show that body content of the application. Okay. Here itself we can write it here, head and body. So this way we can write our HTML page. This way only we'll execute our program. Here every HTML page we start with the doc type, HTML tag, head tag and body tag we write it. So this application we can open it in browser. Here whenever we open in browser, so we can execute our output. Output of that application we can print it. Here this type of output we can observe here under this UI programming. Here under this UI programming we can understand here how to create this type of output. Here I'm executing here output with a browser. So that output will come as the output for our program. So now you can see that how the execution will be. See, I'll show you one of the execution, one of my previous batch program. Here anchor tag, block tag, input elements, like that you can see that all HTML pages, that all extensions are .htmls. This HTML pages I'm executing with browser. Now you can see that here name, email ID, password, sender, country, drop down list, here date and time, checkbox, here search option, here text area, here input elements, here date and time, different date formats, clicks and double clicks. You can see that this type of all effects with that input elements. All input elements we can execute it. That all input elements are nothing but HTML tags. How to execute that all HTML tags we observe. Okay, basic HTML page generally it creates content. Okay, here what we can achieve it with CSS. Here CSS nothing but it's a cascading style sheet. Here style part of the web page we can create it with the CSS. So basic style part of the web page. So .css file we can write, or inside the HTML page we can write CSS code. Here if you are writing any style, that style of the application we can execute it with the CSS. Here CSS mainly gives you style part of the web page. Style means here content. Here suppose if I write 1.css, it is CSS file. Style program. This style program, it can execute it. Here if I write 1.html, in that 1.html I can add this 1.css file inside the head section by link tag. Somewhere I'll add it. So based on all these alignments, we can create mainly alignment of web page. Alignment of web page, we can create it using CSS. Alignment part, basic alignment of the web page, we can create it with the CSS. Here from today's session, we understood here what is UI, what all the topics I'm going to cover. Here, how this UI. Yes, this is front-end programming. UI here, it is a front-end. Whatever you are executing with browser, that is front-end. What all required to learn this front-end programming, that user interface, we are learning here. What is UI? That UI page, how it will interact with the server page, how that server will interact with the database. Database will back it input. The database input will come back to server. Server will back to UI page. This type of interactions you can observe here in every web UI programming. Okay. Here, no prerequisite for this course. Even if you don't know about the computer, no problem. You can learn this course. Why? Because we never ask any byte codes, binary codes, nothing. We are not going to ask you any computer related, any keyword, any word. We are not going to ask. Here, just whatever the tags we are learning, whatever programming we are going to learn in JavaScript, that only we'll practice it and we'll learn the subject. Okay. That way we'll continue. Here, today's session we discussed what is UI, where we use it, example websites of UI, and this UI page, how it will interact with database, how the database will submit their data and it will back it input. Here, how it will connect to front-end programming. These all we discussed here. Today's session we are done with HTML and CSS basic information. Tomorrow session I'll continue with the JavaScript, jQuery, Ajax, like that one by one topic I'll explain to you. Okay, that's it for today. We'll meet tomorrow. One more time. Yeah, Angular is required. It is also comes under front end, Angular, React. After learning JavaScript, you can eligible for learning that Angular or React classes. Okay. Yeah. Any more doubts up to now?
No any doubts.
Yes.
No any doubts, ma'am.
No. Okay. Thanks for attending the class. We'll meet tomorrow in the same link for the continuation of demo. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.